Bedside organizers make great gifts, and the best thing is they're so easy to make. Now there's many different designs, but this one is really simple and uses just a few tools. Now what you'll need is a piece of timber of your choice. I'm going with a 200 by 600 millimeter piece of laminated pine shelving. But you can go wild and make it whatever size you like. The tools you'll need are a drill with a 12mm wood bit, a jigsaw and blade, and you want to make sure that you have a stiff straight cut blade. That way you get more accurate lines. A sander and a router. Now if you don't have a router, it's not the end of the world. You can round off the edges with some sandpaper, but a router does leave a really nice edge. And bits you'll need are a roundover and a cove bit. Then you'll need some wood glue, a few clamps, a tape measure, square, a pencil, and some fine sandpaper. Then to finish it off, some paint or sealer of your choice. Now I'm going with the Ebony Woodworks from Fired Earth. It's a paint and sealer all in one, and it's water-based. Makes it perfect for this job. So the first thing we need to do is cut our piece of timber in half. So we'll measure halfway, draw a line, and cut it with a jigsaw. Now remember, when cutting timber, you'll lose about 2 mils because of the thickness of the blade. So don't cut on the left or the right of the line as you usually would. Try cut with the line staying exactly in the center of the blade. Now choose the piece you want on top, and we're ready to start laying out our organizer. And remember, you can be as creative as you like. I'm marking out a large box for wallets at 130 by 140 millimeters, a smaller one for keys at 70 by 90 millimeters, and a slot for a phone at 90 by 15 millimeters. But check your phone size to make sure it fits. And finally, I'll use the router to make a pen holder on the front. Now to cut the boxes out, but because we can't start the jigsaw on the edge of the timber, we need to drill some pilot holes to start the cuts. So with the 12mm bit, drill some holes in the corners of the boxes. That way you can put the jigsaw blade into the hole to start your cut. And when making your cuts, be as careful and gentle as possible. You want straight, neat lines. Now when you get to your cell phone slot, you'll need a hole on each side, and then you want to put one in the center on the line. And that's going to give you a little access hole to be able to push the button while your phone's still in the cradle. Now cut out the slot with your jigsaw. Now we're going to get onto the router, and I'm using a roundover bit with a bearing to round off the edges on the 2 larger boxes. Remember, when using a router, slow and steady, and move in a clockwise direction when you're cutting an inside piece, and a counterclockwise direction if you want to route the outside edges. Now that my roundovers are done, I can change to a cove bit, and I'll be using that with an edge guide to make sure I get a straight cut for my pinwheel. Now before we put our router away, we have one last cut to make, and that's going to be on the base piece for a charging cable. So place the top piece over the bottom and mark the center of the cell phone slot. Then drill that hole with your 12mm bit. Now flip the bottom piece over and cut the slots in the same way as you did before with the router, starting at the hole, moving towards the edge. Now give it a good sand with a sanding machine, and use some sandpaper and some hand sanding just to get into all the corners. Then we can glue the 2 pieces together. So spread some glue over the joining faces and clamp the 2 together. Glue's dry, one last sand on the edges, and then we can stain it up. And that's it. Get creative, make one for yourself, make one for your friends, your family, and remember that everything I use here today is available at Builders, in store or online at builders.co.za. And for more how-to videos like this, visit the blog on the website. Get to Builders, get it done.